Today I'm going to tell you a story about Professor Wiggles, a fluffy poodle with a brain full of scientific theories and a tail that could power a small windmill. Professor Wiggles, or Wiggy as is human, a bright-eyed girl named Lily, called him, wasn't your average poodle. He didn't chase butterflies. He preferred to observe their flight patterns and document them in his Butterfly Aeronautics Journal. He didn't play fetch. He preferred to calculate the trajectory of the thrown ball using complex mathematical equations, which usually involved him chasing it in confused circles. His current obsession was gravity. He was convinced that gravity was a conspiracy, a sneaky force trying to keep him from achieving his dream of flying. He decided to conduct an experiment. He gathered his lab equipment, a feather duster for measuring air resistance, a roll of toilet paper for recording his data, and his favorite squeaky toy, Mr. Squeaks, as a control variable. He then proceeded to climb onto the kitchen table, his fluffy tail wagging with scientific enthusiasm. His experiment involved dropping various objects from the table to observe their rate of descent. He dropped a sponge. It landed with a satisfying plop. A banana. It splattered messily. And a sock. It vanished. Eureka! Wiggy barked, scribbling furiously on his toilet paper roll. The sock has defied gravity. It has entered another dimension. Lily, returning from her room, found the kitchen transformed into a chaotic science lab. Wiggy, covered in banana and surrounded by toilet paper, was barking excitedly at the empty space where the sock had been. "Wiggy, what are you doing?" she asked, trying to stifle a giggle. Wiggy, pointing his nose at the empty space, explained his theory about the sock dimension. Lily, trying to suppress her laughter, explained that the sock had probably just fallen behind the fridge. Wiggy, deflated but still convinced he was onto something, decided to investigate the fridge dimension. He tried to squeeze his fluffy body behind the appliance, resulting in a comical wedging incident that required Lily to use a spatula to extract him. Undeterred by his gravity-related setbacks, Wiggy decided to explore the fascinating world of sound waves. He'd heard Lily singing in the shower and concluded that sound was a magical force that could be manipulated to create beautiful music. He gathered his sound wave equipment, a collection of pots and pans for percussion, a rubber chicken for a high-pitched squeak, and his own voice for operatic vocals. He started his symphony by banging on the pots and pans, creating a cacophony of clanging and crashing. He then added the rubber chicken, which produced a series of ear-piercing squeaks. Finally, he unleashed his operatic vocals, a series of high-pitched yips and barks that sounded suspiciously like a dog trying to sing Italian. The result was a sonic disaster. The pots and pans sounded like a kitchenware battle. The rubber chicken sounded like a dying pterodactyl, and Wiggy's vocals sounded like a furry banshee. Lily's dad, a man who valued peace and quiet, returned from work to find his house transformed into a canine opera house. He stared at Wiggy, who was now standing on the kitchen table, conducting his symphony with his tail, his eyes gleaming with artistic passion. "Wiggy," he said, his voice strained, "perhaps we could explore the wonders of silence for a while?" Wiggy, mistaking his dad's strained voice for enthusiastic applause, launched into a particularly high-pitched aria, sending the rubber chicken flying into the ceiling fan. Despite his sonic and gravitational mishaps, Wiggy had a deep respect for the natural world. He was particularly fascinated by plants, convinced they held the secrets to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. He decided to conduct a botanical breakthrough, an experiment to determine if plants responded to doggy opera. He gathered his botanical equipment, a watering can for plant hydration, a pair of garden shears for plant trimming, and his own voice for plant serenades. He started his experiment by serenading the garden gnomes, convinced they were actually sentient plants in disguise. He sang his operatic arias to the gnomes, his voice echoing through the backyard. The gnomes, of course, remained stubbornly silent, their painted smiles mocking him. Frustrated, Wiggy decided to try a more hands-on approach. He grabbed the garden shears and began to trim the gnome's hair, which involved him hacking away at their pointy hats. Lily's grandma, a woman with a prize-winning garden, returned from her gardening club to find her beloved gnomes transformed into ceramic punk rockers. She stared at Wiggy, who was now sporting a gnome hair-covered snout, his tail wagging with artistic pride. "Wiggy," she said, her voice trembling, "what have you done to my gnomes?" Wiggy, convinced he had created a botanical masterpiece, barked a triumphant woof. He had unlocked the secrets of the plant world, or at least, that's what he thought. Lily and her family learned that day that Professor Wiggles was a very special dog, who, while a bit chaotic, was always trying to make the world a more interesting place. If you like this video, please leave a like and a subscribe. It will really help our channel grow. But if you don't like it, then just skip it and don't forget to check out our other videos. Thank you very much and goodbye.